Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner podcast. I'm Dylan, I'm your host, and today, guys, we're going to be talking about basically getting involved locally, how that works, what can that do for you, and really just my experiences so far in getting involved in my local community. So, as you all know, construction is near and dear to my heart. That's why you listen to this podcast, because it's probably near and dear to your heart as well. It's the built environment, it is everything around us, it is how we move through this world today, right? From roads, bridges, buildings, offices that we work in, the homes that we live in, the comfort control that we have, the lighting around us. Everything is basically done from a built environment standpoint and construction. With that, we need a lot of people in this industry. As I've said on this podcast before, and as you know, right, we're really not growing the industry as much as we need. Um, we're like short 500,000 jobs within construction, and I mean that on the construction side. So plumbers, pipe fitters, electricians, laborers, you name it, throughout, concrete guys, steel guys, everybody through the entire like construction process. We're about 500,000 people short in the US alone. So we have a gap to make up, right? We know that there's going to be some productivity improvements, but we also know that owners change their mind all the time. So that no matter the productivity improvements that we do and the things that I just talked about in AI, there's still going to be need for people to do a lot of these jobs. Robotics is going to be something that'll come, but again, job sites are not nice places to be. There's a lot of things that they're just not going to be able to get into, and it's going to take a while for that technology to really be where it needs to be and adopted at the rate it needs to be adopted, for all that. So we can pay attention to robotics, but for now, it's not going to be something that we're going to integrate into our workforce and really our daily stuff. Even the dog do job site walks and that kind of thing. It's only applicable in certain instances. And cost effective. So again, there's a lot of like places for some of this stuff. But again, it's finding it, utilizing it correctly, adopting it, and those things are just going to take a while. So how do we basically do all of this and help the industry move forward in the things that it needs to do? And the more and more conversations that I have around this, the more that I've talked to local community leaders, guys from anywhere from job training, and then starting to then do some planning meetings or getting closer to doing that and talking with planning commissioners and supervisors for the county, is a lot of this ultimately ends up being a communication breakdown and disconnect. So, and especially I'm going to talk like more specifically to like high school students, folks 17 to, let's call it 25, 16 to 25, is in that range. They either don't know that construction is an opportunity, they think construction is just digging ditches or maybe operating equipment, which there is some pieces of that, but there's a lot of other opportunities, a lot of other career paths, a lot of other ways, in and through the industry. So what does this really mean? It means that we've got to get in front of, high school students. So here locally, there's two high schools um, close to me, and with that, they have what's known as CTE, or career technical education. And that ultimately is in construction. They have some other software and technology routes as well, but it's trying to match students with employers. Now, pretty much no matter where you are, this is going to be some type of possibility. And what I'm organizing and looking forward to doing is basically helping to match students at the high school level with local businesses, right? So especially in our area, where I live in the foothills and the Sierras, is there's a lot of flight out of our counties into bigger municipalities, other areas, and they just never come back home until they're basically ready to retire. So we're trying to basically keep people within the county, within this area, add to our population, add to the business growth, add to the community as a whole. We have a lot of tourism, but tourism is only going to be so far, and it's super volatile, right? Depending on the snow year, depends on how many people come up to go skiing. How many people come up to go skiing then depends on what the occupancy rate is for the hotels in the county. And then from that, it's how much do they go to the restaurants? Are the restaurants doing well? Can they get people to work there? Right. And then a lot of those, restaurant jobs or a lot of the tourism stuff is not what they call a family sustaining wage. So you have a lot of people that are impoverished, which means the county has to do more for them, pay them, help them in some way, shape, or form. So you basically have this revolving piece of not every, because you don't have businesses that are here, you don't have a tax base, and then the county suffers, and then it gets a bad reputation, which then means no more people are going to come here. And then on top of that, if you don't allow housing and development to happen within the county, then you're not going to have again either jobs from construction to do that, maintenance positions to maintain the apartments or homes. You're not going to have affordable places for people to live. So then they just go somewhere else, right? Combined with not having a job and housing being very expensive, this creates obviously a problem. So, and I'm sure, again, your county, your area is going to have something in some way, shape, or form of this type of scenario, whether it's businesses aren't having trouble hiring people, they're having trouble bringing people in. So, again, my simple kind of solution in this is one, putting a career fair together where local businesses are then able to hire students. You can do this in the spring or the fall, whatever, for those students to allow them to basically come and, get jobs, be matched with employers. It's a pretty simple thing, whether that's after school hours, summer internships, whatever. But it shows not only the high school kids that like, hey, you can have a job, you can work here, you're gaining skills with an employer, again, whether that's just walking job sites, being in meetings, understanding all these things, gaining some estimating experience, whatever it might be. Like you as the employer put them to work, them as the students are going to gain experience being with you guys on your job sites, in the office, learning how this whole thing kind of works, right? They can take that back home, understand it. Maybe they go to college and come back to work for you in the summers, and then ultimately when they graduate, they stay. Those are all types of things. Or they go and take that experience elsewhere, they come back, they start their own thing, right? There's a lot of ways that this kind of ecosystem helps to sustain itself, helps to generate goodwill throughout the entire community. And then it's bringing together everybody from all sides of the industry, right? Union guys, non-union guys, ABC members, signatories to the unions, bringing everybody to the table, getting everybody there. Because ultimately, and this is for me, I want folks to be exposed to everything in construction. So, and then ultimately to get a job, gain a skill, and then make your own decisions. And I think what we end up getting pigeonholed is, hey, Merit Shop's the best, right? ABC is a good organization to join, or hey, the union is a great place to join and do all this stuff. Anymore, pretty much everybody has an apprenticeship program. Safety is pretty much ubiquitous because of OSHA. And so a lot of these things kind of get taken care of, and then there's pros and cons to both, and understanding all of those. And then it's really through all of this, like educating the kids on, hey, go and talk to the ABC folks. Here's what they have to say. Hey, go and talk to the union folks. Here's what they have to say. Then you as the individual, the student, the kid, the whatever, make your own decision. And this is what I really want people to get to at the base of it, is to make their own decisions and not say that these guys are bad, this is no good. It's saying, hey, here's what we stand for in our organization, and this is what we're fighting towards. Cool. Got it. Right. Obviously, we're ABC members. We joined the Western Electrical Contractors Association. And as an engineer, like I'd be happy to join other union organizations like NECA, well, NECA is not a union or non-union thing. It's just a electrical contractors association, but I'd be happy to join and be an industry partner for union organizations for IBEW, again, electrical side of things. But again, that's not something that they like allow non-union members to join, right? And like they don't do design. Like it's a we don't have labor for the design industry. Like it's not, we're not union, non-union, we're just, engineers. So it's a completely separate argument. I'm, on the periphery of all this and ultimately just want more people to get into the trades no matter what. And so when you have that mindset mentality, it's like, hey guys, here's both sides of it. Here's everybody. Let's bring everybody to the table. Here's the career fair. Everybody gives their speeches and we move forward. So that being said, one, it's getting local businesses, construction guys to have a career fair, to have an industry focus, and then start working with the high schools in your area to, bring kids in, do presentations, work with their career technical education curriculum or format or however they're doing it. Get involved. I'm probably going to join in some boards here for it. I've joined, all my chambers of commerce for the city and the county, and just getting involved in that way to basically say, hey, I'm here to help. I'd like to, my sole focus in being here is to basically help drive construction, to help get people more jobs for construction and that whole thing. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking to do. And I would like basically you guys to start to think about how to replicate this in your community. I get that this takes some time, effort, energy to like go and become part of the Chamber of Commerce for the county or to talk to the school districts and all this stuff, but you're not going to solve your labor problems sitting on the sidelines and complaining about it. So this is my way of doing it, of getting involved. And on a long enough time horizon, 5-10 years, this is basically you create an ecosystem such that is self-sustaining. You get people involved, you get people employed, they start jobs, they learn their trade, they learn their skill. Maybe they start their own thing, can support their own family. They do more projects, the community becomes more development oriented to where we're going to build more, do more projects, build more things. Everybody kind of wins through that whole scenario. So that's what I'm looking to do. It's what I'm doing, and getting more active and involved within the community, and wanted to share that with you guys as, ways in, right? Have the things that you want to help and do. And again, I'm coming from this from a very altruistic standpoint where if construction as a whole moves, then we're going to be more likely to get more projects. But it's going to be an indirect effect to my business, right? We're engineering and engineering services. It's one of those deals of, hey, we have opportunities to be involved, to help the project, but at the same time, like there's going to be a lot of service stuff and residential things that is not our bailiwick, but we need those things to happen so that people have places to live, they're affordable, and not affordable housing, but like reasonably priced rents for a person that makes $60,000 a year, because you don't, at that income level, you don't qualify for Section 8 housing. So you got to have like $1,000 a month apartment, right? This is how that works. So through all this, like these are the steps to basically get involved, figure out where you can help, what the entry point is. And it might be through some trade school or technical association. It might be through the community college. It might be, a handful of different avenues that you can go down with your local people and then start, with the planning commission or your board of supervisors, all that, and basically getting projects approved, making the process simpler, easier for people to move forward through all of this. So guys, that's my little kind of diatribe on getting youth involved, helping our trade deficit of, people that need to be in construction, right number of open jobs, 500,000 to basically people available to work those jobs. So we want to get more people in the industry, more people excited about it. And that's all going to start with like high school age, community college age, again, 16 to 25 is the demographic that we're looking at to get them into the construction industry, make them producing and productive members of our industry. And ultimately, it's a rising tide lifts all boats. So you got to be the tide. You got to start rising other boats, helping people out. and getting things moving. So I say all of this to also say it will be frustrating, it will be hard, but it will be worth it and gratifying to help your whole community, basically build more, provide jobs, careers, even if they're not with your company, but with other companies in the area, right? Like we have a big glass installer here in our area, and so hey, if you guys do more, if I get a handful of kids, like 3 guys, to go and work for the glass company. Cool, man, right? Installing windows and that kind of stuff, and glazing and curtain wall and all that stuff. Like that is awesome. We get 3 guys to go and work for the construction company, the general contractor, and they're building houses, learn how to, run jobs, be a project manager, estimate and stuff. Cool. If we get a couple guys to be electricians or plumbers or what have you, like it's going to help everybody tremendously. And that's really, my goal here is to help be the tide to raise all the boats and get the obstacles out of the way, provide the basically means for people to come together to make it a successful day, successful career path for everybody involved. So duplicate this in your area with folks, and you'll be successful. So without further ado, that's going to be this episode of the Construction Corner podcast. And until next time.